at how food moves along the alimentary canal. So we shall look at how food moves right from the mouth and up to the last point where the undigested matter is egested through the anus. The tube that runs from the mouth to the anus is referred to as the alimentary canal, also called the gut. Now, as food moves down and broken into particles that can be absorbed and utilized by the body, we refer to that as digestion. So there are many organs involved in this process, and a lot of activities take place in every organ. Others are simply support organs like the liver and the pancreas. So let's talk about the mouth. Now, food begins to be digested as soon as we put it in our mouth. This is what we call ingestion. The teeth breaks the food by a process called chewing to pieces that can be swallowed. Here the lips help to hold the food so that it remains in the mouth. Now the tongue turns the food as it mixes with saliva, and by so doing forms small balls called boluses that can be swallowed. Now we have what we call salivary glands found in the mouth and the cheeks, and they help to produce saliva, which moistens the food and breaks it down into smaller particles. This saliva also softens the food, so the food particles, or rather the boluses, becomes soft and smooth that can easily be swallowed. The tongue pushes the food into the esophagus, and this process is called swallowing. Let's look at the esophagus. Now, the esophagus is a long tube which transports food from the mouth to the stomach. It is found inside our neck, and it's about 25 centimeters long in an adult. It is also called the gullet, or what we call the food pipe. Now, strong muscles in the esophagus squeeze and pushes the food down into the stomach by a process called peristalsis. It has a muscular valve that controls, or rather prevents, food from getting back into the esophagus. Let's look at the stomach. Now, the stomach is a J-shaped, strong, muscular bag which stores food for some time. During that process, the stomach functions just like a blender does. Its walls contract to break the food. These walls produce gastric juice, which digests proteins. Now, some food like glucose are not digested, but they are simply absorbed through the walls of the stomach. Food stays in the stomach for about 3 to 4 hours. Liver. Now, the liver is the largest and the busiest organ found inside the body of a human being. The liver produces what we call bile juice, and as it produces the bile juice, the same bile juice moves to be stored in what we call the gallbladder. This bile juice breaks down or digests fats. The liver performs many other functions. Among them, it receives nutrients from the blood that is passed on from the ileum. It stores these nutrients and sometimes passes them to other body parts. Let's talk about the pancreas. Now, the pancreas produces pancreatic juice. These are digestive juice, which also breaks down fats present in food. It's also of importance to note that the pancreas produces a hormone called insulin, which controls the level of sugar in our blood. So if the pancreas does not produce enough insulin, then we tend to have what we call diabetes. Let's talk about the small intestines. Now, as food moves from the duodenum, it gets into the small intestines, also called the ileum. Now here, the intestinal juice is produced by the walls of the small intestines, which completes digestion. The digested food is absorbed by the villi, which are finger-like projections that helps in absorbing the food. Large intestine. This is also called the colon, and it's about 1.5 meters long. It receives the undigested food remains from the ileum. Now, while here, these materials undergo a process and excess water and mineral salts are absorbed. The remaining part is what we refer to as feces. Now this one is removed, or rather kept, or we can say stored in the rectum, and it can stay there for even 12 hours. Now when somebody feels the urge to go for a long call, then these materials are removed through the anus by a process called egestion. Always chew your food well, take a balanced diet, and always follow the right feeding habits so as to maintain good health and be fit.